All right, good morning. Court is in session. Good morning,
Good
everybody.
morning.
Thank you for
Good
your
morning.
patience on this morning. Thank you for making the best use of our time on this morning as well. Mr. Morgan, I appreciate you.
Yes,
All
yes.
right. Good morning, Madam Court Reporter. Good to see you. Thank you for serving on today.
You are welcome. Nice seeing you too, Judge.
All right. And good morning in the courtroom, Ms. Drew. Good morning.
Good morning, Judge.
All right. Very good. I'm good. I hope that you're doing well.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, let's start with our defense attorney extraordinaire, Mr. Fikes. Let's do it.
Let's do it, Judge. Thank you.
Come on, put your appearance on the record.
Good morning, Your Honor. Robert Fikens, P31894, on behalf of all three clients today, and I'm looking forward to this graduation. I'm looking forward to being back.
All right, wonderful. Glad to have you back, Mr. Fikens.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Reed, I believe, is in the breakout room.
Yes.
And so let me have the specialty court team. If you could place your appearances on the record, starting with Mr. Morgan.
Good morning, Judge Miles Morgan, Specialty Court Coordinator. Good morning.
Good morning. All right, Mr. Griffin. Mr. Griffin.
Good morning, Your Honor. Brian Griffin, Drug Court Case Manager on behalf of the Probation Department.
All right, thank you. Good morning, Mr. Griffin.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Yancey.
Yes, Your Honor. Kenneth Yancey, Case Manager on behalf of Sobriety Court, Your Honor.
All right. Good morning, Mr. Yancey. All right. What are we starting with first on this morning?
Your Honor, I have a graduate this morning.
Did Mr. Mason finally decide to join us this morning so he could be finished with us? Mr. Mason, you better not be smiling. I haven't seen you smile like that in almost 2 years. You better not. Good morning, Mr. Mason.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I am well. How are you this morning?
I'm fine.
Wonderful. State your full name for the record.
Muti Mason.
All right, Mr. Mason, you are in our virtual courtroom. So you agreed to have your hearing by way of Zoom.
Yes.
Wonderful. I have the following matter for Muti Mason, case number Z8056681. And Mr. Yancey, we'll start with you.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Mason has been with us since June 27th of 2019 with Veterans Treatment Court, Your Honor. And he's trying to graduate this morning. He completed outpatient treatment, completed 112 step meetings. He completed alcohol highway safety class. He completed community service. He submitted to screenings with us, which were negative. He completed the ARMS program, and he paid all his fines and costs, Your Honor.
All right, wonderful. And he is a candidate for graduation this morning.
Yes, Your Honor.
Wonderful. All right, Mr. Fikens.
Thank you, Your Honor. First, I want to make a couple remarks before I make a motion. First of all, we thank you, Mr. Mason, for your service to the country. Secondly, you did it. You went through it. You made it.
Yes.
We are proud of you. You put in the hard work. You did what you had to do, just like any good veteran would do. And we are proud of you, sir, because you did the hard work, you put in the effort, and now it's time to graduate. So, Your Honor, I would make a motion that the following case, Z8056681, be closed with improvement. As we all know, we cannot dismiss it, but we ask that it be closed with improvement. Mr. Mason, congratulations to you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, wonderful. Mr. Mason, tell me, what did you learn from this experience?
Well, through AA meetings, I was learning how to, control how I do when I get the urge to want to drink. And by going to the outpatient treatment classes, I was learning different techniques on how to control you know, my mood when I get into like wanting to mess with alcohol or wanting to mess with weed or anything like that, and how to, you know, cope with a lot of like my family situations where it didn't lead me to get out there and want to go drink. It didn't lead me to go out there and want to go smoke weed or anything like that. I also learned how to speak up speak my mind when I get into situations. I know I'm in a situation where want to pick up a drink or pick up some alcohol. Let's just go out here and speak your mind, that people will listen to you. Tell them what you need to know. That they don't go out there acting crazy or in a fool in the street. This is the parts of things that I was learning from being at AA meetings. And then when I was going to my outpatient treatment, I was learning tricks to deal with when you are in a situation where you are withdrawing alcohol or weed or marijuana, and it was teaching me different techniques on how to deal with going.
Uh-oh, you muted. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. I want to hear what you're saying. There you go.
Think about, what is the consequences of my actions. Then I, from ARMS, I was learning about different things about what people would say to someone where they was like, you're living in this level of life, you got to turn from this level of life so you don't do things that people in this level of life do, and then change to this person, which is, they call them they $2 persons versus $8 people. And then they say you got to
say that again. They call them what? I didn't understand what you said.
They call some people they act as if they're $2 people, and then there are some people out in the world and they carry themselves as they're $8 people. And then it says if you carry yourself as a $2 person, you're gonna do things like get in trouble all the time, go around and be abusive, alcoholic, things like that. And then there are $8 people, and they come from different settings. They don't go out and they don't drink. They don't go out. They don't smoke. They don't get into trouble. They don't getting crimes. None of that stuff. They don't be abusive to their families and stuff. And it's taught me how to change or recognize a person that has a $2 mentality versus a person that has an $8 mentality, and the signs to look for, even in family structures, And so it taught me a lot of things, and I was sitting back thinking about it, and I was wondering to myself, I was like, well, which person do I want to be? Do I want to be a $2 person, or do I want to be an $8 person? On a scale of 1 to 10. And I said to myself, well, I want to be an $8 person. The $8 people sound like they live a good life. I'm not saying that it's easy, but it's definitely better, because they're not always getting into trouble with alcohol, drinking, poverty. They're always not fighting, being abusive, getting into arguments left and right. I say I want to be more like that $8 person, where me and my family are nice with each other. We spend time with each other. It's no abusive situations going on around. We always having fun. We always doing something to better ourselves and making our. So that's some of the things that I picked up from.
All right, Mr. Mason, you picked up a number of things that if you apply them to your life, you should never be back at 36th District Court. Not other than just visit and say hi and to tell us how great and wonderful you're doing. You should never be a defendant at 36th District Court. Am I right?
Yes.
All right.
I was wondering though, can I do what Mr. Scott do?
You want to be a mentor?
I was thinking about it. I was actually thinking about it, and I was wondering if I do want to do mentorship, because I know a lot of young men that probably coming through this program that probably came into this program and was just like me when they first started this program. And they looking around, they don't know what to expect. and
All
they
right.
don't know how to actually complete the program successfully. And if they had a good mentor, someone that did the program, know what the program is about, they'd be like, they wouldn't be as hesitant to go through and follow the steps through the program, because
And
the
so
program,
did you find, Mr. Mason, did you find Mr. Scott to be a good mentor?
I really, really did. He used to help me out so much. I mean, I kind of missed the guy. You know what I'm saying? He told me he was gonna stop being my. He was actually changing me over to get a new mentor. And I was like, oh man, I just want Mr. Scott back, because he would, he would call me on the phone every day. How you doing? You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And I'll be in a bad mood, and then he'll cheer me up. He used to do a lot of stuff during this entire bid. I mean, I was going through heck out there in the world, and it was like it was like he sensed it or something. So he'd call me, "How are you doing today?" And then I'd be like, "I'm doing fine." He was like, "Are you making sure that you sticking to the script, following the rules, blah blah blah, this and that and other?" I'm trying my best. He'd call me, and then he'd put me on track real fast, and then I'd be like, "Okay." Then I get back on track. But I was like, wow, I liked his mentorship. It was great. It was great.
So here's what I want to do. I want Mr. Morgan or Mr. Yancey, if we could connect with Mr. Mason, because I think that's so important to have people who, first of all, we appreciate Mr. Scott and Mr. Parker for participating in the program as mentors. But this gives credence to, in one of the trainings that we've gone to, about individuals who have completed the program serving as mentors, because they are able to share and to talk about their experiences and encourage someone to continue with the program. So Mr. Morgan, Mr. Yancey, I'm putting that in your hands to reach out to Mr. Mason, and let's make that happen, especially since he is a veteran.
Oh, I'm gonna make that happen.
All right, wonderful, wonderful. And so, Mr. Mason, I am so happy that you completed the program. I am always grateful for the service that you've provided to this country and that you have therefore provided to each one of us who are in this virtual courtroom. And so I'm excited for you. I want you to hold on to everything that you've learned. You've taken some really core things that can help you just in life in general. And so I am granting Mr. Fiken's motion to close your matter without prejudice. Ms. Drew, Mr. Mason shouldn't have any other matters outstanding. Is that correct?
That is correct, Judge.
Wonderful. I need everybody in the courtroom to join me in congratulating Mr. Mason on his successful completion of our program and for his service to this country. Thank you, Mr. Mason. Congratulations to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All
Thank
right,
you.
Mr. Mason, you're going to get all of your paperwork in the mail. As you know, the court, we're still with limited operations, so we're not physically in the court, but we are still working. So you'll get everything in the mail. Hold on to it. As I tell individuals all the time, we don't throw you away in problem-solving court when you're finished. We are still here for you. If you need us to point you in the right direction or whatever, make sure you reach out to us. Drop into our virtual courtroom, or someday when our doors are open and we've all received the vaccine, then you can come in to the courthouse and see us and let us know that you're still on track and you're doing well, okay?
Yes, yes. Thank you.
All right, wonderful, Mr. Mason. I want you to do well. Enjoy your Christmas, enjoy your new year, but be safe, okay?
Thank you.
All
Thank
right,
you.
congratulations.
All
All
right.
right, wonderful.
Right.
Okay, who do we have up next this morning?
Mr. Johnson?
The intake. I see that Miss Bennett is on. Did Miss Bennett have some things we needed to take care of this morning?
Yes.
Yes, yes, Your Honor. She has some other some tickets. That's what we brought her back today that were in warrant status. So Mr. Reed did discuss those, and then she picked up a new ticket, which I told you about last week.
A new ticket, you did tell me. I refresh my memory on what the new ticket was on, Mr. Griffin.
But no driver's license, driving with on a suspended license, Your Honor.
All right. So who wants to go in the breakout room with Miss Bennett because Mr. Reed and Mr. Fikes, as you know, when we're helping people in problem solving court, they can't be out there having contact with the law for things that I know they're innocent until proven guilty, but they cannot have contact with the law. You can't slap me in the face, Ms. Bennett, while I'm trying to help you, while I'm applying salve and bandages to your wounds and helping you. You can't do that. That's not going to work well, because you slap me in the face, I'm going to slap you back. And so today you might have to get slapped back today. Ms. Drew, don't take those matters out of warrant status.
Okay.
Who's going in the breakout room to talk to Ms. Bennett? Because that's a problem.
Judge,
If she doesn't have a license, she should not be driving.
Am I done?
Yes, you
Yes.
are, Mr. Mason.
Okay, all right. Okay, bye.
Goodbye, Mr. Mason.
He probably say, I remember them calls. I'm out.
I'm scared to death. I want to get out of here. Let me out. Let me go. All right, you can go, Mr. Mason. Goodbye. All right. Mr. Reed, you want to go in? Who wants to go in the breakout room with
Judge,
Ms.
I
Bennett?
can go in with Miss Bennett, but I'd like to do Mr. Johnson's new contract if I can.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Give me 2 seconds and then we'll do Mr. Johnson. Does someone have the case numbers for Mr. Johnson?
Yes, Judge.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I'll have to make sure you all read them into the record. Give me 1 second. Let me just, oh. Oh my God. Mr. Johnson. All right. And then I see that there is a Justin Williamson in the courtroom. Does anybody know what that's pertaining to? Okay, well, he hasn't turned on his camera. If you're ever going to address them. And then there's a Galaxy Tablet A that's also on. Does anyone know who that is?
Is that me, Judge? Am I Galaxy Tablet 8? I'm on a tablet today.
I have your name in, Mr. Reed.
Okay,
And
all right.
the court reporter's on a tablet as well.
And I have you as well. So I'm not certain who that is. I can't service you if I don't know who you are.
Natasha's on a tablet as well.
Who's on a tablet?
Natasha.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I have you as well. Yes, I do have you. All right. So are we ready on Mr. Johnson?
Yes,
Yes.
Judge.
All right. Give me 2 seconds, please. Just 2. All right. I am ready on Mr. Johnson. Would you state your full name for the record, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Nolan Johnson.
All right, Mr. Johnson, you realize that you are in our virtual courtroom, which also streams live. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you agree to have your hearing today in our virtual courtroom?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, ma'am, you on the Galaxy, you need to mute yourself. I'll mute you. All right. Good morning to you, Mr. Johnson. I'm glad you're here this morning. And so who's presenting Mr. Johnson?
I am, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Griffin, you may proceed. I need to start with the case number.
Okay, Your Honor, this is case Z8066861 and Z8067991.
I'm sorry, Z806.
7991.
All right, and what are the charges for?
Both cases are OWIs, Your Honor.
Oh, wow, okay. Very good. Any other matters for Mr. Johnson?
We discussed it's an outstanding S ticket that he caught at the driving with no license on March the 1st with the first OWI case. So Mr. Reed and Mr. Fikens are aware of it. So they was going to try to work out a deal. It's still in warrant status.
Okay.
Judge,
So-
if I might, I'm sorry.
Yes. No, let me, before you do that, Mr. Fikens, Mr. Griffin, do you have the case number for that matter?
Hold on.
I do, Judge.
Oh, if you could give it to me.
Yes. It is SP 106-17921.
All right, and that's for no operator's license?
Correct. Failed to display.
All right, wonderful. Thank you. All right, Mr. Fikens, there was something else you wanted to share with me?
Only that I tried to make contact with the prosecutor today and I'm waiting for a call back. I'm going to request, as should have probably been done because he picked 2 tickets up on the same day. Generally, they dismiss this no license ticket.
Lord, is that Edwina Sykes? Oh, I'm so sorry. Is that Miss Sykes? Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, Mr. Fikens. Go ahead.
No, we're just waiting for a call back to try to get that matter dismissed if we can.
All right. All right. Thank you, Mr. Fikens. Mr. Griffin, you may proceed.
Okay, Your Honor, this is Nola Johnson. Nola Johnson is 36 years old. He resides in Detroit. He has 2 children, ages 7 and 15, which he has joint custody of. He reports that he completed high school and have 2 years of college. He's currently employed at Chrysler. He's been employed there since 2018 as a high-low driver. He's single, reports never being married. His driver's license right now are currently not valid, expired, and eligible. He is in front of you on 2 counts of OWI. One was picked up March the 1st of 2020, and the second case was picked up July the 1st of 2020. He did take pleas on both of these cases, and his completion of drug treatment court will keep the plea agreement. He reports that his overall mental and physical health is good. We already discussed that he do have 1 ticket and warrant status at 36th District Court and no other open tickets. His drug of choice is alcohol. He first reported the use of alcohol at the age of 16. He was drug screened at the time of the substance abuse evaluation on December the 14th, and the results came back negative for everything. He does have private medical insurance. If anything else I'm missing. None of that. I had an opportunity to talk to Mr. Johnson. He was a referral from Judge Sabri. I don't know if I reported it at the beginning. Talked with him, seemed like a very pleasant young man. I explained to him, about the program and that there's no excuses in drug court. So he says he's willing to do it. Believe Mr. Reed and talk to him. So I'm recommending him as a candidate to come into drug court, Your Honor.
All right, very good. What assessments have been completed, Mr. Griffin?
The needs plus, Your Honor, and it shows that him as a low risk, according to the needs plus at this time, Your Honor.
So low risk. What about needs?
Low risk criminal behavior would identify the defendant's responses to the very close citizen. Okay.
Does it give a rating for needs? Well, it's the needs plus.
It got intensive offense recommended for the defendant. Substance abuse supervision level 3 is further recommended.
So that should be high risk, right? Or moderate risk, because doesn't the risk max out at 4 or 5?
I think
That's 5.
5.
So 3 would be a moderate risk. Is that correct?
Yes.
I'm sorry, moderate need.
Yes, Judge. Moderate. Yeah.
All right. And so he still has to be assessed, Mr. Griffin, by wherever he does his intensive, because that's what's recommended, the intensive outpatient treatment. And
Yes,
they
sir.
need to get a report to us because in specialty court, we do high risk, high needs. but it's not just based on the assessment. We can also take into consideration what the treatment professional tells us. So we need that report immediately. So Mr. Johnson, what that means is when you get assessed by the person that's going to do your intensive outpatient treatment, you need to be open and honest with them. Because here's the problem. If you come back without high risk, high need, then you don't qualify for this program. And that means you just go and do your jail time. I'd rather see you work the program, okay? But we have requirements that we have to satisfy, okay?
Okay.
All right, so the ball is in your court. Mr. Griffin, let's make sure we get that assessment from his treating therapist as soon as possible.
Yep, I'll make sure he be referred to everything today, Your Honor.
All right, make sure you tell them we need to assess his risk and need,
Okay.
okay? All right, very good. Let me just make a note. All right, very good. Mr. Griffin, anything else you want me to know about Mr. Johnson?
No, not at this time, Your Honor.
All right, very good. Mr. Reed, what do you want me to know about your client?
Judge, before I go into that, may I put my appearance on the record, please? For the
Yes.
record, Jesse Reed, Drug Court Defense Attorney, P23863. Judge, I'll ask the court for, I'll make a motion for a continuing appearance for any client I represent this morning, if that's okay with the court.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Reed. Good morning, and your motion is granted. All
Thank you,
right.
Judge. I did have an opportunity to talk to Mr. Johnson. He was respectful, cooperative, pleasant to talk to. That goes a long way with me. We did talk about the terms and goals of drug treatment court. We talked about drug testing, counseling, 12-step meetings. I advised him not to get overwhelmed. We talked about doing things in levels, level 1, level 2, level 3. We talked about community service, arms, alcohol highway safety. Again, I advised him not to get overwhelmed. I was impressed. He has a high school diploma and some college. He has been employed at Chrysler for approximately 3 years. He tells me he's in a tech program at Chrysler to improve his job status, and that also impressed me. Judge, we talked about the contract. We talked about the court's ability to change, to amend, to delete the contract. I advised him if there were any changes or deletions, he would always be informed of that. I also advised him that he would get a copy of the contract. Judge, I'm recommending him for participation in drug treatment court, and he is eligible to participate pursuant to Michigan law. Thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you, Mr. Reed. All right, Mr. Johnson, tell me, why do you want to participate in drug treatment court?
Because I need to get a handle on just my life as in one period. You know, for my boys, they looking up at me, and the things that's been going on in my situation that occurred really kind of woke me up when I got hit off my bike and I was in the hospital and everything. Got me looking at life a little differently, you know, and I got to take things more serious. I'm not that young guy no more. I'm older, more mature now, looking at things differently. So it's like, if it'll help me and give me more stability in my life, then I'm willing to do it. I want to do it.
Well, certainly drug treatment court will provide you with a foundation for being more accountable, for being more disciplined, and learning how to sacrifice in the places that you should be sacrificing. It's more than just about you not drinking. It's about learning some life lessons that will help you stay on a path of recovery, because recovery is a lifetime challenge. It's not just something you do for 12 or 15 months or 24 months even. It's something that you will do for a lifetime, even without the court's intervention. And so I'm glad that you want to do drug treatment court. I will share with you last night. I don't know if you all were aware that there was a horrible accident in downtown Detroit last night. Drunk driver, 60 years old, and he died. He died. And then there was a minor child that was injured but expected to recover. And so I share that with you, Mr. Johnson, because when people come to this program, yes, it can be difficult. Yes, it can be challenging. No, I do not accept excuses. Yes, I expect the best from you, but we're going to roll up our sleeves and work with you to get there. We're not just going to throw expectations on you and then let you figure it out. We're going to be here to be your team members and to cheer you on and to point you in the right direction and to nudge you when we have to. But individuals that have the opportunity to come to drug treatment court, you are really one of the fortunate people, because for every person that missed the opportunity to come and get help, that person may end up in the morgue as the individual did last night, or in a jail cell. Because if you harm somebody, if you get charged with a felony, which third strike, that's where you're going, you end up in a jail cell. And you, Mr. Johnson, just based on what I've heard from Mr. Griffin and from Mr. Reed, you have so much going for you. Let's start with those two boys.
Yes,
you have a
ma'am.
lot going for you. And so take advantage of this opportunity to get your life back on track. Who's in your corner cheering you on? Who supports you?
My whole family.
Your family. Who does that consist of?
Mother, my sons, my cousin, my father, my grandfather, my grandmother. They're pretty surprised by what's going on because it's not really my character, to be honest, but I accept all responsibility because I did it. So something I got to go through, you know?
Yes. So you have a great team already assembled. And so now you get to add us to your team, your team of supporters, the people that are believing in you and want you to do well. And so I know that Mr. Reed went over what you're expected to do in drug treatment court, but understand you don't do it all up front, right? We have phases, and Mr. Griffin, if he's assigned to you as a case manager, you know, he'll make sure that you're on track with all of your phases. And so you can do this. I want you to know that you can do this. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I have your commitment to work hard, Mr. Johnson.
Yes, ma'am. 100%.
All right. And you acknowledge that your attorney went over everything with you, the contract, the consequences, and the benefits of this program?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And you understand what your responsibilities are with respect to this program?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. Do you also understand that drug treatment court starts today?
I didn't know that.
Oh, yes, sir. It starts today, right now, this very second.
That's
It's
no problem.
almost magical. You come in and immediately everything starts.
That's no problem.
All right, it starts today. So that means I expect you to get into your intensive outpatient treatment immediately with a treatment plan as well as a risk assessment, a risk and need assessment. I expect you to do your testing a minimum of twice a week. What testing has he been doing since he's left Judge Sabree, Mr. Griffin?
Your Honor, he just got the substance abuse was just done last week. So he tested last week on the 14th. So that's the only test I got. I'm gonna get him signed up for the 2 times per week starting today.
All right. How have you done since you've not been allowed to drink? Tell me, this is the time to be honest with me, because I can't help you if you're not honest with me.
I haven't drunk, honestly. The most I had a Dole's beer, but it's like, no, it's not alcoholic, but I heard it got some type of alcohol in it, but they gave me that because they was all drinking. They knew I didn't want to drink, so they gave me that to act like I was drinking.
Okay,
Honestly.
so let me say this to you. I don't know if you feel that you need to be placed on an alcohol monitor, but let me say this. If it says beer, I don't care if it's 0.0001% alcohol. It's going to show up and you're going to be held accountable.
Oh, wow,
So if you
okay.
want to look like you drink it, you better drink some water, a Sprite, put a piece of lemon in it, whatever you need to do. Because I don't want you to look like you drinking an Abdul's beer and then end up and your holidays are not merry and bright.
Most definitely. I agree 100%.
All right. So let's do it. No alcohol means absolutely no alcohol. So you're responsible for reading the labels. You're responsible for knowing what you're taking in. If you're out with your friends, you're responsible for making sure you don't drink from anybody. You don't let anybody tell you. It's just because once you do that screening, you are going to be held accountable for every single thing that you take in. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, very good. So, Mr. Griffin, I need him to test immediately. And then let's start his random, 2 times weekly random.
Okay, Your Honor.
Okay? All
Yes.
right, very good, very good. Mr. Johnson, do you have any questions for me or for any of the team members?
Yes, I had received a letter from the Secretary of State saying that my license was suspended because I didn't show the court, but I did come to court. I was kind of confused about that matter.
Your Honor, if I might answer that question, because I just got off the phone with the city attorney regarding that matter of failing to display a valid operator's license. Now, she indicated, and she's made a recommendation that matter, the warrant can be recalled and the matter can be dismissed because he pled guilty on the OWVI. So I would move at this point in time, Your Honor, that this court adopt that recommendation from the city attorney and dismiss case number SP 106-17921.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Johnson, do you wish to take advantage of that offer?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Fikens, is that with a stipulation of probable cause?
It must come with the stipulation of probable cause, and we so stipulate, Your Honor.
All right, very good. Then, Ms. Drew, I am
Yes, ma'am.
dismissing without prejudice the
Okay.
failure to display case for Mr. Johnson. And so,
Okay,
Ms.
now.
Drew, I don't know if that will impact his license at all, but if you could just, it doesn't impact his license, right, Mr. Vikens?
It doesn't, because he has 2 OWVIs. It's going to be revoked. His license either has been or will be revoked. But this takes care of the letter he got from the Secretary of State regarding failing to appear.
Okay.
It will remove that portion of it. So he's in better shape than he was 5 minutes ago, Judge.
All right, very good. All right, Mr. Johnson. So that matter has been, we're already working for you, Mr. Johnson.
Thank
All
you. I
right,
appreciate
you better
it so
roll
much.
up some sleeves and work for yourself too, okay?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, very good. Any other questions, Mr. Johnson?
Just one more, and that's all.
No, you can ask as many questions as you need to.
Is it a way I can get that that alcohol thing on my cart so that I can drive and I can always show that I'm not drinking at all?
Mr. Fikens, let me have you answer, or Mr. Reed, go ahead.
Judge, when we talked about the fact that his license might be revoked because he had 2 drinking and driving within a 7-year period. I also indicated to him that he might be eligible for a restricted license through drug treatment court if his license is revoked, but he has to show us something before he gets the recommendation for a restricted license. I would also ask that the clerk, Ms. Drew, send me a copy of his SOS so I'll know what his driving record looks like, if I could ask for that, please.
Okay, I sure will.
All right, very good. All right, and so Mr. Johnson, any other questions?
No, man, that's all for me.
All right, just know that we are available to you. You don't have to wait for your next court date. You'll be in touch with your case manager, and they know how to contact me at all times. And so we're here, we're available to you to work with you. Look, Mr. Johnson, I know it's the holidays, so if you have some issues, by all means, pick up the phone, go to a meeting, reach out to your intensive outpatient treatment provider, because I know it's going to be difficult, but you can do it, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, very good, very good. I have a couple of questions for you. Just Mr. Griffin, for you, did you take the time to determine whether or not Mr. Johnson is, or if he's ever been, a violent offender? And did you determine whether or not he is a substantial risk to the public?
Your Honor, we did run background checks, Lean, and Mr. Johnson is not a threat to the community, and he's not a violent offender at this time, Your Honor.
All right, very good. Then with that, I am accepting you into our specialty court. Mr. Johnson, I'm looking forward to working with you. Mr. Griffin, did you determine a return to court date just for Ms. Drew to put in the system?
Yeah, I put down the 7th. I think we said that was a day that we it wasn't too crowded on that on the 7th. Ms. Drew, is that okay?
January 7th, 2021 at 9 o'clock?
Yes, Your
It
Honor.
sure is. Yes, it
Okay.
is.
That's good. All right, very good. So, Mr. Johnson, your next court appearance will be on January 7th, and it will be by way of this virtual courtroom, okay?
Okay.
But you're going to talk to Mr. Griffin prior to that, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so make sure you take his call, make sure you're connected to him so that
I
when
will.
you come back to see me on the 7th, you're in great shape, okay?
Okay, yes, ma'am.
All right, wonderful. Wonderful to meet you. Look forward to working with you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Likewise. Thanks for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. All right, very good.
And I'll call you later, Johnson.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Who's going into the breakout room with Miss Bennett, and has someone gone into the breakout room with Miss Sykes?
I'm going in with Miss Bennett, Judge.
All right, Mr. Reed, and who needs to go in with Miss Sykes? Miss Sykes. Yourself, Miss Sykes. I see you talking.
Can you hear me?
I can. Miss Sykes.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. I can't even fuss, and I'm not going to. I'm not going to fuss. First of all, I'm glad to see you alive. How about that? Let's start there.
Yeah, I'm still here. It's not as bad as you thought. I found out what you thought. I did.
Miss Sykes,
What
hold
happened?
up, hold up. No. Before you talk to me, you're gonna talk to your attorney. So I'm sending Mr. Ficus. Are you going in the breakout room with Miss Sykes?
Yes, Judge.
All right. So let me put you in the breakout room, and then I'll talk to you when you come back.
Okay.
All right. All right, so Mr. Reed, I'm moving you to breakout room 2, along with Miss Bennett is going to go to breakout room 2 as well. And then Mr. Fikens, I am assigning you to breakout room 3, along with Miss Sykes. So both of you have to accept the invitation, Miss Sykes, to breakout room 3.
Okay.
All right, you all should get it.